One way that we can help people in our families, on our blocks, at our churches, and our schools is to make sure they know about satellite vote locations and about drop boxes. These are two ways that voters can vote early. They can avoid lines on election day. They can avoid the rush and make sure that their vote is counted safely. So what you need to do, if you have not already requested an absentee ballot, is go to the Detroit City Clerk or your local city clerk or township's office. You can do this online. You'll find where the address is. All you need to do is go and ask them for an absentee ballot. You can fill it out right there. You can turn it in right there and be done. Otherwise, if a ballot is mailed to you, you are able to fill it out at home. Make sure that you seal the ballot properly. When you open the ballot, it'll have a couple of other things in there. All you need to turn in at the end is the privacy envelope that they provide for you to fold your ballot into. Make sure you put it into the sealed envelope and sign the outside of it. They won't be able to count your ballot unless it's signed on the outside. Seal it tight. And then you can turn that into a Dropbox location, which in the city of Detroit, we have about 30 of them across the city. There's a map on the Detroit Department of Elections website. It shows everywhere that you can go, find one of these boxes, drop it in. They're very safe. They are being surveyed 24 hours with a camera, and they also are being monitored by Detroit City Clerk staff. So there's no problem with putting them in a Dropbox. We do recommend that people put their ballots in a Dropbox versus putting them in the mail. Now that we've gotten closer to the election and there have still been some delays due to COVID in the mail system, it's really important that we take advantage of drop boxes, don't rely on the mail, and make sure that our ballots get picked up safely. So that's one thing that you can do. Another is to go to a Detroit satellite vote location. Other cities have these as well. Detroit just has the most in Michigan. These are also listed on the same website on the Detroit Department of Elections, and you don't have to order a ballot ahead of time. You can go in, you can tell them that you want to vote absentee. They will give you a ballot that's specific to your district. All you have to do is fill that out and turn it in just like you would at a polling place, and then you're done. And you can do that any day of the week leading up to the election. You could go right now and take care of that. So check for hours and locations on the Detroit Department of Elections website. And then if you don't live in Detroit and you want to find out where your clerk is, if you want to find out what is on your ballot, look at a sample ballot, you can visit mi.gov/vote. And I also want to let you know that the Secretary of State just launched a brand new website this week, and it allows for language access in a long list of languages. And so people will now be able to see their ballots in different languages and find all kinds of information and town hall events that they can join virtually in these languages. And the website for that is mi.gov/SOS language access. So they wanted me to plug that for you today and make sure that you are aware that those events that they have are open to the public. A couple of other things to keep in mind if you want to help voters in your family or in your community. If someone has barriers to voting because they have either disabilities, they are older, they are not feeling well, they have limited language and English skills, or they have limited literacy, there's a number of ways that we can support voters. Number one is always to vote at home via absentee and have someone in the family or household turn in that ballot for them. But if they do want to go to the polls on election day, it's okay to take an assistant with you. So that's something that we want to make sure people keep in mind. You don't have to have a disability in order to have an assistant. You can take someone with you for help with language or help with literacy, and they can go right through the whole process with the voter. Another thing they can do is request an audio assistance machine. Those should be available at every precinct. And that means that someone can actually listen to the ballot read to them instead of having to read it themselves. So that's something to keep in mind. And of course, if a voter were to get to a polling location and for whatever reason it's not accessible, if a ramp is blocked or if an elevator isn't working. Poll workers are required to bring voting materials outside to the voter so that they can vote comfortably and they can vote privately. They are supposed to bring out a privacy screen and make that voter comfortable and be able to fill out their whole ballot. A couple of other things that are Michigan specific. I'm trying not to speak too fast. I do sympathize with my ASL interpreter. One thing is that in Michigan, we are unique in that felons have the right to vote. You can vote with a felony record, you can vote on probation, and you can vote on parole. Not every state is like this. Some states penalize people for attempting to vote if they have felonies on their record, and they end up going back to prison for several more years. And so because of that, I think there's a lot of fear around it. We also have seen a number of corrections officers and parole officers here in Michigan tell people the wrong thing. So the misconception is pretty wide, and we appreciate anyone spreading the truth that you can vote on probation, on parole, and with a felony record in Michigan. And it's really important to know that even if someone is in jail awaiting trial, if they have not yet been sentenced, they are still able to register to vote absentee from jail.
So if I'm going to college at the University of Boston and I'm from Michigan, can I can take my absentee ballot to their clerk's office?
No.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay, no, it's okay.
You can register. The registration deadline is closing for registering online for absentee, for applying online for an absentee ballot. But if it's already coming to you in the mail, and you already received it, hand it in the next 5 days, and you should be fine. The mail should be able to get it back. If a person waits until, or either their absentee ballot does not come on time, or they wait until the last minute, I can't guarantee that the mail will get it back on time to the clerk. And currently, the rule in Michigan is that it does have to be received by 8 p.m. on election day. So the ruling in the court has gone back and forth between whether it can be postmarked or it has to be received. So as of now, we're preparing everybody for them to have to be received on election day. So anyone outstate, make sure that they get their absentees in as soon as possible, or they may have to physically bring their absentee back to Michigan, or turn it in person or vote in person.
You can find more at onedetroitpbs.org or subscribe to our social media channels and sign up for our One Detroit newsletter.